Hello, everyone. Welcome to the May 17th episode of the Bacon Bets podcast. Back-to-back days with the pod. Yesterday, went over the PGA Championship, my betting preview, best bets, DraftKings lineup, everything like that. So if you want to get my golf picks for this week, for the second major of the season, you can go ahead and check out that episode. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking the conference finals of the NHL. It is the Carolina Hurricanes against the Florida Panthers, the Dallas Stars against the Vegas Golden Knights, the most southern Final Four in the NHL of all time. The most northern team is Las Vegas, which is crazy. And as a Canadian myself, not the most ideal situation. I don't really think any of these cities deserve winning a Stanley Cup. But hey, at the end of the day, it's the NHL. NHL playoffs are exciting. And my actual two champions, my East Conference prediction and my West Conference champion prediction still alive. So I'm going to give you my best bet for each of those two series, my best bets for game one, and I'm going to review my bracket that I revealed ahead of the playoffs and see how I've done up until this point. First off, though, got to talk about my Maple Leafs. My beloved Toronto Maple Leafs have broken my heart once again. I gave up after they went down 0-3. Then of course, won Game 5. And then it was tied in the third period, and I was right back in. And then what happened as soon as I turned the game back on, they went to overtime, and they lost. There needs to be changes to that organization. Now that I've calmed down a little bit, there definitely needs to be changes. Now, Sheldon Keefe, their head coach, has not yet been fired. It's been coming up on a week now. I guess not a full week, half a week. They have not announced that he's been fired. He needs to be fired. He has been out-coached in just about every single playoff series that he has coached in. He is obsessed with certain players, mainly Justin Hall. Justin Hall played like 26 minutes in Game 5 for the Leafs. I don't know how one of the worst defensemen in the National Hockey League continues to get plenty of ice time. He continuously, every time there's a bad play, a bad turnover, a goal that shouldn't happen, look who's on the ice for the Leafs. It's fucking Justin Hall. Get that guy off the ice. So Sheldon Keefe needs to be fired because he's a moron, gets out-coached and plays players that shouldn't play. Reminds me of fucking Babcock refused to stop playing Leo Komarov. Is that the guy's name, Leo Komarov? The old guy, he was good for a little while. Yeah, Leo Komarov. He was good for a while, but then he got old and Babcock didn't stop playing him. Sheldon Keefe's got to get out of there. Kyle Dubas, the GM, who a lot of Leafs fans want out, I actually like him. I think he built a very good team. I don't know. I guess people are just angry that the Leafs haven't gone on a run, so they're looking for people to blame, and Kyle Dubas is kind of the face of that team, so they want him fired. I actually like Kyle Dubas. I think the Pittsburgh Penguins want him. So let's not, get rid of things that are actually working for us. So keep Kyle Dubas. You got to fire Sheldon Keefe. The head coach definitely has to be fired, no question about it. Now the core four. I'm not a salary guy. I'm a bettor, and when it comes to sports betting, the salaries don't matter. So I don't fully understand the intricacies of the salary and what you can do with the core four. I think both Matthews and Marner have like a clause coming up where you're not able to move them after a certain date. I don't understand how all that stuff works. I don't know who can be and can't be, but someone in the core four needs to be broken up, and I think we got to ship Marner. He's soft in the playoffs, and this whole core is soft in the playoffs, except for really Nylander. I like Nylander. I think he shows up in big moments. Austin Matthews is not, but although I can't really support getting rid of arguably the best goal scorer in the NHL right now, so keep Austin Matthews. Marner hasn't shown up. He's been soft. Get rid of him. And then I guess we'll keep John Tavares, who has been largely disappointing since the Leafs have got him. Great regular season guy, great leader, doesn't show up in the playoffs. Took the team to his cottage out in Muskoka Lake in Ontario after they lost in the first round last year. Hyped the boys up. Congratulations. You won a series you probably didn't deserve to win, and then you got bounced in 5 games in the second round by the 8 seed. Congratulations. Changes need to come. I don't know what it is with this core group of players. I don't know if they just don't have the killer instinct. I don't know if it's just been bad luck. I don't know if they just don't really care if they lose. I don't know what it is, but this core group of players can't get it done. They got to make some significant changes. Also, I would love to see them bring back Ryan O'Reilly, one of the best players in the first round of the playoffs this year. One of the main reasons why we were able to beat the Lightning. He's the kind of player we need. And I hate that old school mentality, the old Don Cherry mentality that, oh, you need tough players and these pretty boys who skate well, they can't get it done in the playoffs. I've always hated that narrative. But when you lose, 6 straight first-round playoffs and then 7th time you make it to the second round and lose in 5 games, what else is there to point at? I definitely think coaching is the main concern. If we bring back Sheldon Keefe next year, we're screwed. But we got to make some changes to the roster as well. Justin Hall it should be illegal for Justin Hall to ever strap on a pair of skates again. Our goaltending. People are going to disagree with me with this. I don't think Ilya Samsonov had a good playoff at all. He had a couple games where he played really well in Game 6 against the Lightning that won us that series. He had a couple games where he played well. But I thought we looked way better with Wall in net. He allowed what? I guess if you count the overtime goal, 4 goals in 2 games. Not counting the game that he got subbed in when Samsonov got hurt. I thought Wall played really well. I would like to see give him a chance to be our full-time goalie next season, because who knows what's going on with Matt Murray, and Samsonov, I'm pretty sure his contract's done. I have no interest bringing back Samsonov. Give Wall a chance. He's a young guy. Who knows what will happen. Make some other changes to the roster. Fire Keefe. Keep Dubas. And let's see what happens next year. But I'm sure I'll be back here again next year in the same spot saying the same thing, and the Leafs will be dead again. Oh boy. Let's talk about the teams that are left in the NHL postseason. We're going to start in the Eastern Conference here between the Hurricanes and the Panthers. My series pick is the Carolina Hurricanes to win, -135. Probably not, anyone who's listened to my stuff, probably not a big surprise, considering I picked the Hurricanes before the season started to win the Stanley Cup. I picked the Hurricanes to win the Stanley Cup ahead of the playoffs. I did pick the Devils, though, to win the Round 2 series. I thought the injury to Teuvo Teravainen was going to just completely handicap them. I thought that was going to hurt them in Round 2. But you want to talk about a good coach. Rod Brind'Amour might be the best coach in the NHL. The schemes that he comes up with, he out-coaches every coach that he goes up against. He gets injury after injury, and it doesn't affect the team's production. They play great defensive hockey while at the same time not sacrificing offensive opportunities. And I think that was a big, big, big difference against the Devils in Round 2. Now, Teravainen is apparently progressing quickly. I don't know if he's going to be back this series. If they make it to the Stanley Cup, it sounds like he might be back in time for the Stanley Cup. But I'm sticking to my guns. The Hurricanes have been the best advanced analytic team all season, leading the NHL in Corsi percentage and Fenwick percentage and expected goals percentage, all that good stuff. Now they're finally getting some decent goaltending and some decent shooting. And then they just completely disposed of the Devils in 5 games. Now, some might say the Panthers are for real. I will admit, the Panthers are probably better than their 8 seed. They had a bit of a rough start to the regular season. They had some injuries they had to deal with. They had some new players that took a little bit of time to gel with the roster. But what I will say about the Panthers, though, yeah, they might be better than the 8 seed that they have, but I still don't think they're a great team. They ran into a Boston team where they shot well and Boston didn't shoot well, and Boston finally had some bad goaltending. Their Vezina Trophy winners stumbled all through the first round, and they won in Game 7. Then last series, I would arguably actually think the Leafs deserve to win. This sounds ridiculous because they won in 6 in Round 1 and then lost in 5 in Round 2, but I actually think the Leafs were more deserving of winning Round 2 against the Panthers than they were Round 1 against the Lightning. The irony of this whole thing is I actually think the worst playoff series the Leafs have played over the last 6 years was against the Lightning when they won. 3 overtime wins, some lucky bounces, but then their luck completely changed on them. Leafs, and this is not arguable, outside of saying, well, look at the final score. The Leafs outplayed the Panthers in Game 1 and Game 2. Sergei Bobrovsky, who's 48 years old, somehow looked like he's Vladislav Tretiak in net. They couldn't get a puck by him in both games 1 and 2 and 5. Sergei Bobrovsky was a stonewall. Unbelievable. How many saves did he have in Game 5? Like 50 saves? Sergei Bobrovsky? 58-year-old Sergei Bobrovsky? There's no way Sergei Bobrovsky keeps up that level of play. Let's look at some Sergei Bobrovsky numbers here. Sergei Bobrovsky so far in the postseason is a .918 save percentage. It's better than that against the Leafs. His save percentage in the 5 games against the Leafs, .944, .946, .917, .920, .962. He didn't have a save percentage in a single game worse than .917 against the Maple Leafs. That's unacceptable for the Maple Leafs, first of all, but Sergei Bobrovsky is not going to keep that up. His regular season save percentage was .901. So there wasn't a single game that he came within .16 save percentage of his regular season last series. Not good. And this is not just he had a weak regular season. His last 901 save percentage this season, 913 last year, which isn't terrible. The 906, 900, 913. Like, he's not going to be able to keep this up. He is 34 years old. He is actually a couple years younger than I thought he was. But he's not going to be able to keep this up against this Hurricanes team, who's starting to shoot the puck really well. The Hurricanes team, the much better advanced analytic team throughout the regular season. My point was about the Panthers that, yes, they won the first 2 series against the Bruins, who are the Stanley Cup favorite, and then heading in the second round, the Leafs are the Stanley Cup favorite. But I don't think that means that they're the best team in the NHL. I think they stumble here. I think the Hurricanes are the better team overall. I'm surprised we're getting them at this short of a price, to be honest, at -135. I will take them there. Hurricanes -135 to advance to the Stanley Cup final. Let's head over to the Western Conference, and once again, not going to be surprised who I'm picking here because these are the 2 teams I predicted would meet in the Stanley Cup final. Give me the Dallas Stars +115 underdogs against the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, I will say, no team did I lose more money betting against than the Golden Knights in the regular season, and I've bet against them to lose both their first 2 series, and they continue to win. So I might just be wrong about the Golden Knights, but at the end of the day, I look at the advanced analytics, and they aren't good. For example, so far in the postseason, the Golden Knights have an expected goal differential, if you look at expected goals, of -0.11. So actually a negative expected goal differential. And they're, if you look at just 5-on-5 play, that's positive, but barely, +0.7. So their expected goals margin, not good. And you look at the Stars, they lead the NHL in expected goal differential in both 5-on-5 play and full strength, +0.78 per 60 minutes during all strengths, and +0.53 during 5-on-5 play. So the Stars, even though they've struggled a little bit to close out their first 2 series, have arguably been playing the best hockey of the postseason. Now, obviously, the argument can be made they're playing against very different opponents. The Stars in the second round had the easiest opponent amongst everyone against the Seattle Kraken, but then I would say the Golden Knights had arguably one of the easiest opponents in round 1 against the Winnipeg Jets. The only reason why game 1 went to 6 games for the Stars round 1 went to 6 games and round 2 went to 7 games because Jake Ottinger has not actually played well this postseason, which is surprising because he's historically been extremely hot in the playoffs. If you look at his numbers this postseason, a .903 save percentage, not great. Career playoffs, .927 save percentage though, and I mean, even in this regular season, this is not just like he was bad this season. This regular season, he had a .919 save percentage. So, bit of a rough start to his postseason, but he did pull it together in Game 7 against the Kraken with a save percentage of .957. He might be finally finding a stride. Getting yanked in Game 6 against the Kraken may have woken him up. So I have faith Jake Ottinger is going to start playing well again. And like I said, the Golden Knights, say what you want about the Golden Knights, because a lot, especially hockey media right now, are sucking them off. But I could be wrong. Maybe they sweep the Stars. I look at the advanced numbers. They don't look impressive. They weren't impressive in the regular season. They haven't been impressive so far in the playoffs in terms of the advanced metrics. That's inarguable. So I'll take the Stars. I love them here as underdogs. I'll take the Dallas Stars to win the Western Conference Final at +115. In terms of Game 1, I have nothing new to add. Hurricanes -140 in Game 1 at home. Stars +110 on the road. Obviously, if I looked at the total. I actually kind of like the over in the Hurricanes and Panthers Game 1. I think it's at 6. And I kind of like the under in Stars Golden Knights. But at the end of the day, I'm very confident in both the Hurricanes and the Stars, so why would I not pick them in Game 1? Let's ride with those two teams. And then let's wrap up here with let's do a little bracket update, shall we? I showed you my bracket at the start of the NHL playoffs. Let's see if I can figure out how to once again show my screen. Ooh, I'm figuring out a little bit quicker each time I do it. Whoop. All right. Here's my bracket. Let's go through series by series. I nailed Kraken against Avalanche. People forget. I said Kraken in 7. The Kraken won in 7. People forget. I nailed Stars in 6 against the Wild. I just crushed the top left corner of the bracket. I absolutely crushed. Because then I also had Dallas beating the Kraken. In this bracket, you don't do it in the exact amount of games after the first round. But I had the Stars beating the Kraken in round 2 in advance. So I literally nailed to perfection the top left corner of the bracket. Now things get worse from there. I had the Jets beating the Golden Knights in 6. In hindsight, not great. Connor Hellebuck really let me down. I thought he'd carry the Jets a little bit in the playoffs, but he did not. He had actually a pretty weak first round against the Golden Knights. And I did have Edmonton beating the Kings. I had them doing it in 5. It took 6. Sue me. I then did have the Oilers advancing into the Western Conference Final. If they played another series, the Golden Knights and Oilers, and you gave me the exact same odds, I think I'd take the Oilers again. They need some goaltending. They were let down by their goaltender once again. I had Bruins winning in 4 over the Panthers. Yikes. I did have, look at that. I correctly predicted the Leafs series. I had the Leafs winning in 6 against the Lightning. They did exactly that. I had Carolina in 4 over the Islanders. Obviously, that took them 6 games. And I had Rangers in 7 over Devils. It did go 7, but Devils ended up edging them out. So I did at least get the amount of games in that one between Hurricanes and Islanders. I got the team correct. And then I got Hurricanes. I predicted Hurricanes over Rangers, but doesn't matter. Hurricanes won. And then I had the Leafs going to the Eastern Conference Final. My bracket was looking great after round 2. But the Oilers let me down. The Leafs let me down. But my Stanley Cup Final is still alive. I had the Hurricanes defeating the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup Final. I don't remember who I had winning the West at the start of the season. I think I had the Flames winning the West. So that's not going to line up. But I've been on the Hurricane train from day 1 this season. Pre-regular season, pre-playoffs. Now if they can get Teravainen back. And I believe they are the Stanley Cup favorites now. So we will see what happens there. I guess 38 goals will be scored in the Stanley Cup Final. Who knows? But there you have it. My bracket, not bad, to be honest. Brackets are very tough. I think I've done pretty well. If you want to visually look at it, you got to be watching the YouTube version of this podcast. And if you are watching the YouTube version of this podcast, click the subscribe button. Click. That's the word I was looking for. The like button. Leave a comment. Let me know who you think is going to win the Stanley Cup. All that stuff helps the channel out. Thank you all so much for watching. Round 3 starts, I think, Thursday night. Between the Hurricanes and the Panthers. And then Friday night, I believe, is the Western Conference Game 1 between the Stars and the Golden Knights. A couple days off in between the second round and the third round. But that's all right with me. It gave me time to record a podcast. Good luck to everyone with their hockey bets this round. I'll be back to talk hockey ahead of the Stanley Cup Final. Let's hope it is the Hurricanes and the Stars. Not only do I think... not only would that be my prediction coming true, I think that would be the most entertaining series of the potential Stanley Cup matchups. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Take care. Gamble or bless. I'll talk to you next time.